We back at it, Homegrown Radio, Chuck Dizzle, DJ Head, man. We here with a day one, a friend, family member, a
live
lifestyle.
from the Fab Factory Studios.
Oh yeah, live from the Fab Factory Studios.
Live from the Fab Factory Studios.
This is the first episode of 2024.
You should, man.
Yo, and so I know it was long overdue, and I know you're gonna talk your ish. We got lifestyle specialists and 17 other CEOs that I'm sure she's gonna talk about how many hats she wears, and she's gonna brag on how many places she's been. And that we haven't been yet.
And them shades.
That she bought in Paris.
The shades she bought in Paris.
We got Miss Diddy here, first and foremost. How are you, my friend?
I'm great, and I'm happy to be here with y'all.
Yo.
Nothing means more to me than to be here with y'all, and I'm definitely talking my mess.
It's going to be, so percentage-wise, how much of this conversation is going to be humble and talking your ish?
God.
Like, if we can think percentage-wise, how much are we going to get, I got to talk my ish, Diddy, and then, I got to, play it cool.
What was the percentage on Cat Williams interview?
Yeah, we started like that.
I'm just kidding. I'm just Cat Williams
let's
on
talk
DJ
about it,
Head.
though.
I be having beef with Head all the time.
She always fake beefing with me, and I don't even do anything. All I do is uplift black women.
Oh.
And
he know the target words. It just already starting off.
Yeah, he knows.
All I do
He armed me.
What did he say before? Just loud and wrong.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
No. She specifically is loud and wrong, not having anything to do with the black woman movement.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I adore black women. My mom's a black woman.
Yes, she is. I love
employ
her.
black women. I love black women.
So how much of this is he going to be humble?
Right,
because
exactly.
he employed black women. It's big.
He still said the stats already.
I'm just saying.
Miss Diddy, man. I mean, again, obviously, if you can't tell, we've known each other for years.
Very long
This
time,
conversation
not just years.
is long overdue. First of all, I want to talk about how was your 2023, and as we set up for 2024, what expectations, goals, and things are you looking forward to accomplish this year?
First of all, that's a great question, but I'm going to say this. I think that 2023 was pretty challenging for a lot of people for a lot of reasons and a lot of ways. And me being one of those, Heads putting his hand up. And I think that it was one of those years that was testing us from every angle and everybody. It was one of those years I was like, no, I'm going to keep the fire on you. I'm going to keep testing it when you even wanted some room to breathe. I know it was like that for me. Definitely personally, family-wise, professional-wise. So much so I kind of took off the latter of the year. Just so I can kind of get back right and regroup because it was so heavy. It was like so many things happening in my family and then also professional. Everything changed, I think, last year. I think people were super excited kind of coming out the pandemic. And I think they went quick, super, a little too aggressive on how quick they were going to go. And I think 2023 was the year that everybody kind of put the brakes. Like, hold on, let's reevaluate some things. Very humbling. And so, but the interesting thing is for 2024, I feel really motivated about this year. I'm not completely sure why, and I'm not sure when it switched it exactly, but it was definitely in December. And I felt like, something like lifted. And I feel like this is going to be one of our best years we all see. And I don't talk like that. I'm not like that. I'm not super, I'm not pessimistic, but I'm definitely a realist, So, but I know what I know, and I know it in my soul, and I know it in my spirit. And I'm going to say this, and we're going to look back at this 12 months from now. We're going to look back like, damn, there's so much that we were able to do. And I think it's a good time for all of us, those who were tested, those who kind of stayed in the game, whatever that game looks like. That could be for anybody. That could be the janitor at, the high school, but I feel motivated, and I think it's going to be a great year for all of us.
I think I want to tap into something because y'all know each other from back in the day.
Yes.
And
Long Beach State,
college days.
Literally one of my first classes ever.
Yep.
I think it was an intro to acting, right?
Intro to
acting,
I was
which
like,
is
why am I in
so
here?
why? What was
I don't
Chuck
know
like?
why I was in there though.
What was Chuck like?
He's always been the same.
He wasn't like an asshole.
No.
He wasn't like.
I'm not even saying that because they're right here.
Thank you.
Chuck,
What was he like though?
I feel like he was
Did he do
always
his work?
relatable. I don't think none of us really fully did our work.
At all.
I don't think that the work was fully being done. I think we was like, all right, we're in Long Beach with the hoodie on. Y'all stay Long Beach hoodie on. It wasn't really like real work being done.
Have you ever heard the term dorm room dizzle?
All right.
Nah,
what was going on? See, hold on. I was driving back to Compton to my house. Hold on.
See, yeah,
Dizzle, what was going on?
nothing at all. See,
Hey,
look,
I'm not about to let you
don't let him do that.
align this man.
Don't let him do
place.
that. I'm glad you brought that up. Not the dorm room Dizzle, not the dorm room Dizzle
Not the
part.
dorm room Dizzle part,
No,
however.
but just the early days of Long Beach State, because
Yeah.
when I think of that, when I think of I didn't know you was Diddy then,
Yes,
right?
you knew my-
When we had class together, I was wondering, like, did you see what we see now? Like at those days, what was in your mind? Did you see lifestyle specialists? What I kind of want to tap into that. Like, what when you were on the campus of Long Beach State, what were the things that you were aspiring to be?
You know what's crazy? I feel like you had a good hang on what you aspired to be.
Right.
I feel like you always, if you didn't know everything, you knew your direction, kind of your trajectory and where you want to go, and that's why you're here.
Right.
Like that was from that long ago. For me, I wasn't that clear for me. I think for me at that time, I've been on my own since I was 17. I graduated when I was 16. I went to Lawndale High, graduated, just went into college. I was academically, I did well. So I was accepted in a lot of colleges, but I grew up in a pretty like tumultuous home, like volatile home. And so for me, I didn't want to leave the city because my mom was still at home. I didn't want to leave like that. And it held me back because ideally in a perfect world, I'm the girl that should have went to HBCU. You know what I'm saying? I'm the girl that should have pledged Alpha, should have pledged Delta, something like that. I'm that girl that should have been there. And I didn't have the luxury to do that because of things that were going on in my family. And so when I was at Cal State Long Beach, I was just going with the motion. Like, all right, guess you're supposed to go to college right now. And I, much to say, my stepfather that raised me at that time, his name was Fab Fisher, and he put me in college and alongside which you know Jesse Powell. You know Jesse Powell. So Jesse's father, you know, Mr. Powell worked at Cal State Long Beach for like 25, 30 years in the registration. Yeah.
Wow.
He put a lot of kids in college. Wow. So at the time, Jesse was like one of my first boyfriends, and his dad was like, you don't go to Cal State Long Beach. And I was like, hey, like, so that, he's a legend, God rest his soul. And so that's why I ended up going to college. So I think also what was dope about being from LA, and we all understand this, and now the world sees it. Shout out to all our artists from LA that's also kicked open the door so the world could kind of see a glimpse into our being from LA. But we was just cool kids. You got Tommy the Clown on the weekend. Like, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to those type of cultural movements that for me, I didn't know what I was building up, but I was building up that lifestyle factor that I ended up becoming successful off of exactly just who I am, you know?
When you got out, like, I mean, I don't want to gloss over your resume, but people are pretty familiar with who you are, who you worked with. Like, you've done a lot of branding for yourself, which is dope. Shout out to Forbes and all the extra things. But what I want to ask you about, or talk to you about specifically, is the pivot, because a lot of people don't know when and they don't know how.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you work with Kanye, you work with, I'm sorry, Ye. You work with, I don't want no smoke these days.
I don't want no
I don't want no smoke.
No.
But you work with Ye, you work with all these different people, but the pivot, and then I think to your point, especially being a woman in a man's world, I want you to talk about the pivot, when to pivot, and how to pivot for people that are trying to start their own business, people who are trying to brand themselves, people are trying to get out there.
You know what's interesting about my pivot? I think that you learn your pivot when people ask you that question. So you have to pinpoint a time in your career where you're like, oh, that's when it switched, or that's when it became this, or that's when it became. And I think that as you climb, you learn what those points are, and they're vulnerable points. So it may be either when I learned like, oh, I can't smack nobody no more. It's kind of crazy. They know me as Miss Diddy, and it's not just, you know what I'm saying? I can't handle things in that way.
You was out here
anymore.
smacking people?
Oh, please, you know, I'm good with that.
Shit from Compton.
Yeah, it's gone because I can't stop. You trying to take it.
I just want to know, like, you out here, I didn't know you was out here victory slapping people.
Nah, it's active. It's known. I'm but no. What? But I say that to say the pivot for me.
If you ever been slapped by Miss Diddy, give us a call.
That's crazy. Because there's a couple calls.
It's in the comments right now.
And I'm sorry. Because men.
I'm sure you probably deserved it. Whoever you were.
First he apologized. And so, anyways, No, that's crazy. I think the pivot for me that I can like pinpoint in my career was, so being a promoter, right? I was the only girl promoter, the biggest parties really in the country, not even just locally, right? So Supper Club Tuesdays, Toxic Saturdays, Sayers on Friday, all these cultural big on-premise nightlife movements that changed globally how things kind of were perceived, and everybody else in major markets did their parties too. For me, I knew I didn't want, no disrespect, but I didn't want to be the old girl in the club.
Facts.
And here's the thing. I always say that this is a young man's sport, meaning it's just a man's sport. A man could be 50 years old, still throwing them hottest parties and everything, and it's not perceived in the same way. Yeah. For women, it's tough. We have a window. And not for everybody. This is no disrespect to anybody's that still do, but for me, I couldn't do that for my career. I know that they were bigger and that I had the ability to like affect bigger in the world than just in the clubs. So for me, I mean, I had the hottest freaking parties, but it was itching me. I'm like, nah, man, I gotta pick, something has to like, gotta do something a little different. And no, it was definitely All Def Comedy Live. Yeah, it was the comedy show. Moment, yeah. It was the moment because it translated from me being the promoter that did clubs, which I'm grateful to God that no one viewed me as a party girl. Like I did well in that, right? But it was the clubs to like, okay, this is an alternative from the clubs. Mm-hmm. This is a fly comedy show. Russell Simmons is here every week, so we have that type of star power that leads into more star power. And it was really, what was really special about that whole moment is, so Miata Johnson, who is the wife of John Monopoly. John Monopoly has been my mentor since Ye days. He still manages Ye, like whole thing. Miata called me and said, I have a dear friend named Adair Curtis. Adair was working for Russell at this time. And he said, they got a comedy show. They want to do it every week. They've been doing it. No one's coming. If you don't do it, we're going to shut it down.
Oh, damn.
Right hand of God. So I'm like, let me go walk and see. So let me go. So met Adair. We fell in love with each other. He's still one of my dearest friends to this day. Very, very, very well respected executive. He was like, come do the walkthrough at Chinese Man Theater. I'm like, Chinese Man Theater? That's the venue is weird, the parking, you gotta walk up the escalator. I think about all these things. Right. And like, because I care about every detail, I care about experience with any client that comes in the door, friends, whatever, I gotta think about point A to Z. When you park, do you valet, do you this? What's the most convenient way? If Rihanna comes, is she gonna come through the back? Like, what does that look like? And Chinese Man Theater, I was like, I took a couple of my team members and I sat in there, and it was no one was there. We were kind of like going over things, and I was like, I felt it. So like, I know to go with my gut, and I felt it, and I was like, nah, we gotta do it. All right. So then I promise you, that week there was 4 people there. Russell had his girls there, everything. The next week I packed it out, in years it kept being, every single week, everybody came. Chris Brown, J. Cole, Floyd Mayweather, like everybody you could think of came through there. It was David Chappelle's first stop when he came off a really hiatus. So you know what I mean? Like Dave Chappelle don't go to no spots like that. He doesn't have to do that, you know? Kevin Hart, of course, we see Tiffany Haddish. Everybody came through there to play. Mike Epps would come and we'd be like, Mike Epps is one of my favorite comics. And like, he's so funny to me, and he would come and be like, he about to go on. We have to put Mike Epps on last because he's gonna keep going. Right. He's gonna keep going, and he's not gonna stop. He's funny the whole time. Yeah. You know, and I have to give a big shout out to Tony Rock, because Tony Rock was an incredible host. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Tony Rock. So funny. Yeah. He doesn't get the flowers he deserves, because just because you're a comic or you're funny doesn't mean you're a host. At all. You guys know that type of thing. It's not just because you think doesn't mean you're a host. He kept that show going the whole time. He never missed a show. He was so committed. You know, and from there, I say all that to give a lot of context, but from that is when I started the brand group. That's when I started my agency. That's when I started hiring staff. That's when I put a camera in there. There didn't have no cameras in there. Right. That's when the Shade Room was barely, the Shade Room was just full of like messy comments. Mm-hmm. I told Angie, who's the owner of the Shade Room, I said, hey, I'm gonna give you exclusive content. I got all the celebrities coming. It's
gotta be right.
We gonna build up the shade room even with this as well. This is years ago.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? The Jasmine brand, YBF, like all of that. And no one has seen a nightlife space on blogs. That wasn't what was going on. It was celebrity gossip or celebrity whatever. It wasn't like so-and-so was in the nightlife.
Yeah.
So that's why I really started the way that looks on blogs and like being in those spaces. So that was a pivot, and that was when I was able to get all my shit off. I was able to really get all my creativity off, all my ideas. I'm like, I want to do this. And ain't nobody was stopping me. Shout out to them, like Russell Simmons, Steve Rifkin at the time, Jeru Tillman. They were just like, let Diddy go. Because it's clearly.
Now, when you having that kind of run, I think it's important to note too that the men, because me and my team make it a point to always empower women, right?
Absolutely.
Especially women creatives.
Yep.
I want you to talk about the difficulties in being a female creative in the world of a man, because I think that a lot of women feel like that.
You know what's tough with my position is that I'm so grateful to God that I have like kind of the poise that I have and the persona and the way I feel walking in a room. So I ain't really been played with like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of like, we ain't gonna play with her.
We know somebody.
It's legit gonna go with that.
We know some people been slapped.
Yeah. It's gonna come with something.
Well, here's the reality of the situation is a lot of women have that story.
That's my point. And I feel, and it's crazy because I be putting my cape on all day long. Like I'm a person behind closed, like, hey, so-and-so said, is everything cool? Yeah. Did you pay them? Is it, okay, cool, yeah, it's missed it, You know, because I was fortunate enough to have that type of fire, right? And so I do feel bad about the women that go through that, because here's the thing, what happens in careers, like you're coming up and you're trying to figure out, like, you don't want to piss nobody off or be the person that's difficult to work with. And sometimes you think it's a sacrificial component. Like, I got to take that because I'm trying to stay in this position. And I've always been brave. I also tell women, just be brave. Understand that sometimes a no or a hell no, I'm not doing that, it turns into something greater later. There's things I've had to turn down and I'm like, the money, all of that, like, can't do it.
Where did you learn that from? Because you talk about having a tumultuous like childhood. Was there some things that you learned growing up and you saw like, ooh, okay, you know? I
think for me, I gotta keep it funky. It's my relationship with God.
Word.
And I'm not holier than thou, I'm not perfect, but I always was really concerned about my relationship with him and my integrity. Like, I always led with integrity first. Because if I did, oh my God, please, I'd be on a jet somewhere.
Right.
Like,
up and stuck. Huh?
No, for sure, I'd been the best to do it. But I think that I also had a lot of people looking up to me. I had a team around me that I looked in their eyes and I knew that the decisions I made would affect their lives, and they're looking up to me. Whether we're the same age or nothing, they're literally like, what's Miss Diddy gonna, like, and that mattered to these people's lives and the decisions they made. That's, the pressure of that is wild, you know, even as a woman. But I will say this here too, like, I always shout out the men that were really instrumental in my career, because I think that's important. In the time of like Me Too's and so much sexual assault and things that are going on. And yes, anybody that has wronged someone should be made whole, and but there's a lot of good that men have done as well. And I think it's a tough thing because now you almost don't know how much to do. And men have been really good to me in my career. Like Kanye and his whole, everybody over there, John Monopoly, Don C, GLC. I mean, everybody around those guys treated me like family. And I had to say like, there's a lot of good men that have also done well for women as well. I grew up with brothers, you know, so I understand the dynamic of a man and a woman.
And you said something important too. You said they learn the ability to just get out the way and let you create. You know what I mean? Oftentimes we talk about that as creators, like, oh, why wouldn't they just let us do us?
Let us do, please.
We know what to do, but that allowed you to kind of like navigate through the space and, you know, turn certain things on in your brain and be like, oh, and validate you in certain senses and help spark that creativity. You know what I mean?
Do you? Oh, sorry.
No, I want to speak on this. It was an urban legend at the time. And I want you to kind of walk through the workout plan. being on this skit for Kanye's College Dropout. Now, I'm not sure, I can't remember the timeline of it. I'm not sure if he was still at Long Beach State at the time, but I remember.
Like it was like very close.
It was very, very, like
I might
very
have still
close.
been at Long Beach though, low key.
Because I always pinpoint albums in my life. And I remember it was in the middle of my college career,
For
right?
sure.
It was like
College
03,
Dropout.
College Dropout, right? So like in the middle of like College Dropout, that happened, and everybody's like, yo, you know that's that's
I think I was still low-key like on the way of dropping out of Coast Day Long Beach, and because that's also too, I mean, I'm around them heavy, you know, at this point. And so you know, it was super special though, because so Kanye has a cousin named Ricky. You guys probably know Ricky Anderson. I don't know. You may have came across him, but
you know,
great.
I'm bad with faces.
No, I know, right? Did we just go through that?
Right.
No, Ricky Anderson, great friend of mine, super dope. Him and my cousin Micah Walker grew up together in an empire, and Hit Boy and all them. So they all grew up together, and so. Yay, that was his cousin. He's like, my big cousin is producer doing his album. You know, it's like when a new artist that you cool with start doing. Can you imagine like when new art, like when Drake was about to come out or something, they're not out yet, you know, and they turn into these people. We've experienced it with Kendrick, YG, we've experienced it, you know, Nip, God rest his soul. And so, that was at the time, you know, my cousin got, you know, come to the studio, like, all right, go, whatever. Me and my homegirls go to the studio, whatever. And of course I got a hood, I'm from LA, like for real, you know, and it's funny because when people don't hear me talk, but then they hear me talk, they're like, oh, you're really from LA. Like you sound like you're from LA. And Ye was just like, man, Diddy, just get in the booth. And he honestly, not for nothing, he created that whole kind of skit. I ad-libbed a little bit, but not really. He was like, say bootleg queen. Like he was like, he's so genius. Yeah. Like he's legitimately a genius. And like, he was like, all right, say this, like Lexus. And I remember being like, I don't think I could cuss. Like, you know, like, I can't be cussing.
The people in the church gonna be
that's exactly what it was. It was like, when I go back to Faithful Central on Sunday, y'all can't have me on the cussing on the album. Is that gonna make the album?
Right.
But
that's definitely gonna be on the album.
Amazing album.
Yeah.
Got a Grammy off of it too.
Hello.
But everybody on the album got a Grammy, one album of the year.
Right.
And so that was like super special because we were just clowning in the studio. And it turned out to be something hella funny. And like, he loved that so much. It's his own number. It's number 10. It's the workout plan skit before the workout plan song. Workout plan song. He loved this skit. Like, he would introduce me as the bootleg queen. That's like, funny. 2 people. Like, people was like, he introduced me to L.A. Reid as that. I'm like, no. Like, he had people calling me that. But it became urban legend.
No, because I just remember when we were playing it. Yeah. It was like, hey, you know that song? I'm like, no. I'm like, for real? I'm like, yeah. Oh, snap. And it's everything started transpiring after that. But that's why I said I couldn't remember timeline-wise.
But it was definitely around that.
Yeah.
Do you remember the studio session?
Oh my God, what? It was,
okay, so in that studio session, when you were doing this, because I've heard different things about studio sessions with Ye.
I love studio sessions with Ye. I stayed with him first 1, 2, probably 3 albums.
Okay, that's even better. So, can you describe Ye's studio session?
It's the best. Well, not the best. Like, first of all, let me say this too. I was so mad at myself because second album, was it College Dropout? It's Graduation, I think.
No, Late Registration.
Late Registration, I'm sorry. Late Registration, I was supposed to also have a skit. But I was clowning in the studio, like record plant rolling on the scooter, just doing all the stupid, eating the cookies, the hot cookies. So when I was supposed to be in there, focused on doing
you were adding to the ambiance.
I would have had, yes, I would. Yeah.
So you would have had 2 skits.
I would have had 2 skits, but I was in there
eating
for
cookies.
So much. Yeah, like I even remember one of my favorite sessions probably was Gold Digger. Gold Digger didn't have a third verse on it first. And Ye was like, we was like sitting out. This was actually a chalice, I believe. And he was just sitting out and he was like going over. So he was like, man, I feel like I need a third verse because the concept of Gold Digger, he was on diamonds so heavy. Like that's what he wanted. The diamonds are forever, like really this statement. And he's like, the only way something's gonna hit 106 in Park is if I do a song like this. Gold Digger. And it ended up being one of those.
So wait. So Gold Digger didn't exist.
Gold Digger wasn't like he was like, I gotta create a song like this.
Yeah.
And at that time,
in order to get
to do 106 in Park, 106 in Park is gonna put up Gold Digger before they put up Diamonds. Even though Diamonds was his heart, his focus, like, you know what I mean? And so at that time, I had a homegirl named Blair. Do y'all know Blair from Inglewood? Ray Charles' granddaughter?
Oh, yeah.
So Blair
BR,
was around BR.
Yeah.
So I'm the one that was like, yo, you really need to do your music. Like she was around me at that time, so I would bring her around. And he needed to clear the sample. Remember Jamie Foxx was like doing Ray at that time, the whole thing. Wow. So it was like super crazy. I remember being like, yo, if you get her some kind of way to get this cleared, I'll give her a verse. She playing around too, like, no, for sure. And BR, like, no. So, you know, it was good music. So my homegirls, I made the street team, the Good Girls. And so she even did a record. Like, remember when Jeezy kept winning the dope boys go crazy? Yeah. So she made a record like a play on it, like when the good girls go crazy. 'Cause that was like my favorite song. I love Jeezy. And that time was like a time, because like Gold Digger was very strategic, intentional. And it's crazy because it did what he needed it to do, but I think it even did more than what he thought, because it was really just that 106 in Park kind of thing.
I remember when Gold Digger came out, because I don't know if that was the time. That wasn't on Late Registration.
That was the next one, right?
That was on Graduation.
Graduation, yeah.
Okay, so when Gold Digger came out, I think that's the first time I ever heard him being interested in Kim. And I remember like this whole thing based around the song, right?
Yeah.
Specifically that song. And I was like, I was this is years ago, so I don't remember the timeline correctly.
Of course.
But I definitely remember that was his first time. All right, that was the rumor. He was interested in her, and I heard that he put that song out
for that.
On that type of time.
That at that time.
You never heard that?
No, because also too, now I
know the real story.
No, but no. It could have been. I wasn't, I'm the homegirl, but they treat me like the bro, but I'm still the girl. So it's like, I don't know everything. He definitely, I know his girlfriend, was Brooke at that time? Brooke Crittenden. She's my sister still to this day. Her birthday's the day after mine, August 13th, I'm August 12th. And it had to be around time. That was like hella fun. Like, Ye was like, here's the black card, dude. Right. Go take Brooke shopping.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, I was going crazy. Brooke was going crazy.
So, okay. So the hard pivot, coming out of that, you want to start your own business.
Yeah.
This is a dumb question, but I want you to elaborate on it. Do you feel like I have my own thoughts, and Chuck not going to add, and not going to chime in on this.
But it depends on what it is.
That is crazy, y'all.
Say it and I'll let you know if I won't chime in.
Do you think that it helps or hinders you being a woman in certain spaces? Because some people would say women have an advantage, and then some people would say men have Men have the best advantage. Why?
First of all, it's the concept of you guys growing up in sports. So the boys club is a real thing. And I'm not against it, but it's what 9 times out of 10 or 8 times out of 10, whether you play sports or not, but you understood, like, especially you guys that play sports, you understand team. But your team was men. Your team weren't women. You understand team, you understand having a coach. So you actually, even if you're rebellious, you still can understand authority. You understand position. So if you're the quarterback and you're the safety, you're not playing the safety and you're not playing the quarterback. You understand position. These are things that were in young boys' minds from here. We're individualized as women. We didn't get that. So the idea of camaraderie, the idea of like community and keeping it tight-knit and close together is something we have to create if we can. Also, as a woman, we're all insecure. It ain't one of us that ain't. It's just a piece. It's a part of it. It's not no way around that. We are.
I appreciate you acknowledging that.
We are. There's plenty of women I'm like, dang, she bad. Like, like, I wish my hair looked like that, or I wish that. We are gonna all go through it as women. The sooner we understand that and like not weaponize that, but allow ourselves to be vulnerable in space with each other, but protect it, then we're gonna be better. The thing about a woman and a man is that men also have the ability to manipulate any woman.
Any woman.
Any woman.
Really?
What?
You don't think it's vice versa? You don't think women have the ability?
Not first. It's Hitch. Any man has the ability to have any woman. It's just what it is. I don't care what women say. Like,
Word.
I would never. Okay, let them have a couple more lines on you, a couple more love, figure out what you really like. And any man has the ability to manipulate any woman and also have any woman. It's just the truth.
Damn.
So I'm not giving that to you so that you can feel stronger about your ways.
I'm not. What you talking about?
Nah, here say, yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
So what you mean to tell me? It's any woman? Oh shit! All right, for sure. Keep going.
Keep going.
Keep
with
going.
Your theories.
Speaking of cockroaches,
Right.
no, just go ahead.
But so back to what you're saying, it definitely helps. It hurts, but it hurts. There's so many times I've had to be like, God, why he don't gotta be on that. I'm just trying to do business. Like I legit just want to do business. I'm one of the girls that like, I love to work. You know what I mean? I want to be worth my salt. I want to have a sense of duty. I care about doing it. And, you know, sometimes it's difficult with men. Like, it's good, but then it definitely hurts.
In my experience, it's been easier and more pleasurable to work with women. Like
100%.
I feel like Cat Williams. Like as many positions I could put a woman in, I would put a woman in.
We're gonna protect you over any man.
I would definitely rather work with women over men. Do you have that experience? Like as far as from
both. I have really dope men that I have that work with me. You know, Kern, you know, that are super loyal to me. And what I don't have to deal with is thinking that a man wants to be me. Mm-hmm. So that's what I don't have to deal with. I'll never think that Kern wants to be Miss Diddy. He doesn't. But I have to now figure out if you, Tatiana, actually just want to actually be me, be in my position, know the people I know, have the regard that people have for me. Like, it's tough.
How do you deal with that, especially when you notice it, right? Because you want to
cut it
help.
off at the head.
You do.
You have to.
There's no world in which you can actually show somebody like, okay, there might be a
end up in
lesson
lawsuits
learned.
behind it.
Really?
Hell yeah. Jealousy is it's cruel as a grave.
Wow.
So, okay. Let me ask you this: when it goes left, which is worse, men or women? When things go completely left.
Women.
Why is that?
For me, for sure. Because a man, there's ego that you're dealing with. So I could really be like, hey, bro, cut your ego real quick in it. And it's like, he either gonna never talk to me again, or it's like, you know, like, fortunately with how I am, a man's not gonna be like, but he might be like, all right, Diddy, I ain't even on that. A man's not gonna take things further.
Yeah.
A woman, you can't size up that jealousy in her. You can't, because I've had women take it far. And for me, especially like how I grew up and how I think, and me being a Leo and a Lion, it's like, I only have a couple ways to handle things. And it's really like one or two. And so I have to literally bring myself out of things, like disappear on something, because for me, I feel like I'm a lion. I feel like, you're putting me up against a wall. Like there's only one way I could come out of this.
Yeah.
You know, and I've been in those situations, and it's hurtful and it's devastating and it's heartbreaking. And you're looking at someone like, bro, I really fully like put you on. Yeah. I put you in a position that you never would have been in your entire life. Yeah. And this is how you repay.
Is there anybody, I'm sorry to cut you off. Is there anybody that not anybody specifically, but when you cut somebody off, just in general, is there any way for them to get back in your life? Or is that it?
It's hard for me. I'm a Leo. I don't have it.
So it's a no for you.
Because it takes me, I have to understand what happened. I'm not a situational person. I have to understand the intent. The intent is far greater for me than like the action. The action I can figure out, because we're all gonna unintentionally wrong each other or hurt someone's feelings. It's relative, right? Like, I didn't know that was my bad. I said that to the homie over there. I didn't know it was a thing for you. So that's something different. The intent, once I know the intent and it's malicious, I can't. And it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. Like, it'll hurt my soul.
Yeah.
But I understand what's at stake. And once you continue to grow in life and you understand your own stakes, you ain't playing with that with nobody. You done built this up yourself, sleepless nights, figuring it out, trying to get business from this person, be in these meetings, this, and that. You finna play with somebody behind that? I don't play with nobody behind that. This is our future. We're not kids. We're actually in our years of what we've built up. I'm not playing with that behind. I'm not playing with that with no man, no woman. I ain't playing with that even dating a man. He ain't come up for that neither.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not playing with that. Because I remember specifically when me and him was doing homegrown in his apartment, like I used to try to like bribe people, literally like pay people, give people gas money.
Come on.
Get on.
In your apartment.
Yeah, man. In the apartment.
Think you about to play with me? Not that y'all think.
I heard you say, and I wrote it down, no budget, there should be no budget on brand awareness. It's an infinite budget for that.
People hated that. Oh my God. They grilled me in the comments. They hated it.
Now look, when you said there should be no budget on brand awareness, are you speaking from a marketing standpoint?
Sure.
Okay.
Because again, like I said, and that people would have, they hated it. Visibility, it depends on what your ROI is. If your ROI is money, that's something different. If your ROI is visibility, spend the money. I spend a lot of money on. You've been to my events.
Yeah.
You've been to my events.
Yeah, I know.
It ain't no spare.
No.
My whole staff is paid. I got a 30-person staff on an event. And I'm not playing. So like, I'm saying it not from a space that I'm not doing it. I'm saying it from this is what I do. You know what I'm saying? No, because listen, the amount of money I spend on marketing a year, whether it's my company for the Miss Diddy brand or whatever, I can't even put a number on it. Or I can't even say this is how much I'm gonna spend. Because what if something else comes up and that looks great too? And I'm gonna chance that every time. I'm gonna bet on myself, like Emory Jones says, every single time. Because why would somebody else bet on me if I'm not doing that for myself? So I'm saying that from a place of, I don't demand anything from anyone else that I don't demand of myself, Jay-Z. You know, that's what I'm saying from. I mean it.
I always have conversations I talk to a lot of artists.
Yeah, you do.
A lot of artists. And the biggest thing that I always try to stress to them is because they think like when they sign to a label that their life is going to change. And I'm like, you don't even misconception on what a record label is, right? For
sure.
And the record label, if you actually been to a record label and you go in there's no real like studios.
Right.
There's none of that. It's offices.
Sure.
And those offices are filled with people trying to market your music. And so what I always try to tell them is like, yeah, you could have the best product ever, but if no one knows about it, then how do you get? So to your point, we have a lot of artists, creatives that follow us and tune into us. Would you say what advice would you give them? To overspend on marketing themselves or the product, or how would you
say from an artist standpoint? Here's where artists and just in general people go wrong. They forget that things are a business.
Facts.
So if you get up in the morning and say you do your workout or something, whatever, get to your computer. Send an email to the VP of marketing over at your label and say, hey, happy holidays. I hope all is well. Just thinking about you guys. Maybe I could come pull up on you guys. And what happens with artists is just like Pusha Ra was saying in his interview, it's the arrogance, right? It's like, man, they supposed to be calling me. Like, no,
I'm the talent.
Yeah,
like,
I'm the talent. It's exactly the concept of Jay-Z saying, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. It was what he was saying, no disrespect to anybody, because I love Dame Dash too. I have his attitude fully. But like, when he's saying like, this is how I was able to maneuver a bit better in the rooms, you know what I'm saying, with people, because it's business. So if you're my president of whatever, and you have so much on your plate to keep the lights on, and we're actually risking and putting money and investing in you as an artist, but you're the president and you need to keep this business going. Me as an artist, I could pull up to the office on a Thursday.
It's not gonna hurt me.
Bring some Subway sandwiches to the whole office. It's not hurting. And say, what's up, y'all? I'm just wanted to say what's up. Hope y'all good. I'm dropping a new record. Hope y'all could hear it. Like, I always tell people to do that. So even if it's not so much drop so much money monetarily wise, get in those rooms with those people. Sweat equity. Stay at the top of their minds. You do the initiating. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, let's talk to the multicultural department or the brand partnership department. What do you guys have on your desk? Oh, I would love to be involved with that. I would love to be involved with that because those people's in those offices, that don't mean they're culturally aware.
Yeah, they are
They're not outside.
They're
not outside. I'm the promoter that allowed A&Rs to come in parties and managers to come in parties. They couldn't come, didn't nobody know them. Didn't nobody know them. What you talking about? I knew them. I worked in music, so I knew them. My friends were managers. My friends were A&Rs. I'm walking them in. You know what I'm saying? So like, they're just not outside. No disrespect. Some of them are. You got people like Dallas Martin. I love the way Dallas Martin has done his career and his A&R and things like that because he did take the time to be outside. He will be like, Diddy, I'm finna come get a table at Toxic. I want to sit next to Nipsey. Put Nip table next to mine. You know what I'm saying? It's being smart, being aware, and staying top of mind. And then look at all what ends up happening.
A toast to Black Hollywood.
Woof.
I got a chance to go. I've been to a couple of them.
Yes.
What stood out with, like you said, you spared no expense.
No.
I had to get the last one. I had to get out of there though because it was too high. I ain't gonna lie to you. She had it on top of some building. We were on the roof. There's a pool on the roof, right? So there's a pool on the roof.
The highest penthouse in downtown, period.
Okay, there's a pool on the roof. I'm looking down at helipads.
Wait, say that one more time. Think
I'm looking off the roof and I see
you're looking down
at helipads.
At helipads.
For sure.
Now I'm from here, bro. I'm from LA. I don't do heights, my nigga. I don't fuck with it. I don't like it. I get vertigo. I don't. So then you go up these stairs to the deck, and they doing massages.
Sure is.
They doing massages on this deck,
Shout
right?
out to Manly Hands.
And you can see the whole city with the helipads and everything.
Fire.
And I'm like, and then I go downstairs and I go and shout out to Doritos.
Shout out to Doritos.
I like Doritos. Stay giving me Doritos. I'm like, this is my kind of shit.
That's your lane. I can see you walking out like, wait, hold on.
By the way, bypass the Duce Cigar Lounge. Then
Whatever.
He goes to the Dorito. He goes straight to the Dorito Lounge.
I'm in the Dorito lounge. They're like, yeah, would you like some Doritos? I would like some Doritos. I
actually would. Thank you.
So I just was like, yo, and the food was fire too.
Yeah, shout out.
I'm pescatarian now, but at that time,
but I had good options for all of it.
She had these kebabs and these little skewers, and it was just like it was decadent.
Yeah. Come on, decadent.
It was decadent, right? So I'm there, and I'm just like, yo, how much was that?
No.
I was like, how much?
What are the receipts?
I was like, how much was this party, bro? Because I do a lot of parties.
Okay.
I've thrown a lot of parties.
Yeah.
I've
and
been
all
a
the
part of
furniture was rented too. You don't want me to get no line items up in this. That's why I play with nobody playing on my name like that.
Yeah. So I just wanted to, first of all, I wanted to share my experience.
I'm so happy about that.
But then I know everybody kind of familiar with A Toast to Black Hollywood, but what's your goal for A Toast to Black Hollywood? Like, what's the goal for it?
That's so interesting you asked that, right? Because I started Toast to Black Hollywood probably damn near 10 years ago when no one was doing that type of event, right? So like the concept of recognizing and respecting and awarding your peers peer-to-peer in front of everyone, that was your award ceremony. So outside of those four walls of your BET Awards, your Grammys, all of that, that wasn't happening. That wasn't the concepts of events. Now everybody does it. And Toast to Black Hollywood was the blueprint of how that felt. For me, I wanted to, that's the brand group, my company's marquee event for the year, because a lot of times I'm hired in from clients to do their events, which is something different than it being my actual formal company event, which is why I spend so much time and money and resources to make it really, really special and separate from anything else. The goal of it for me, it used to be called Toast to Young Hollywood. And during 2020 is when I changed it to Toast to Black Hollywood. When everything happened in the world and we watched George Floyd be murdered on television. And it was a time for us to feel powerful again, and for us to feel like being Black is as beautiful as it is, right? And like in us being the leaders of everything cultural, everything, pop culture, I don't care what it is, we are the leaders of it. And so I wanted to shine a light on that and really be bold in that communication, which is something not everyone could do, especially if you're not an entrepreneur. You're kind of scared of a lot of things. And that's why I'm really proud of the partnerships and the client and the sponsors that come on board, like Doritos, you know, because they have a program called Solid Black. And they honored me for the sophomore year of this program, in which they were putting a lot of dollars that was promised in the Black and brown communities. And they actually really did it.
A lot of those companies that promise that money.
Promise it, never realized, never.
Yeah.
PepsiCo, Doritos has done it continually. And so they partnered on the event without any type of, oh, we're not sure if you want to say Black.
Right.
Nah.
Which is a
like,
thing.
What do you mean?
Yeah, a lot of people
100% it's a thing.
talk about it.
But for me, it's like, nah, I'm a Black woman. My mother's Black, my father's Black. I'm not anti anyone else. I have amazing friends from everywhere in the world, every culture, every ethnicity. We from LA, we grew up with every type of ethnicity. But I am a Black woman. And so my children will be Black if I ever have those. My nieces and nephews, they're Black mixed with other things, but Black, you know. And so I want to be a representation of my people to the best of my ability, you know. And so that authenticity, I think, speaks in the Tulsa Black Hollywood. It's us of the world. Because DJ Head ain't going to everything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I feel like my event, I'm really proud because it's that. You going to see the homies in there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's the homies that has made waves. I mean, J-Rock was in there.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, J-Rock ain't going to nothing.
He don't
you
go to
know,
nothing.
Brandon TDE, like, he ain't going, you know, and so.
It's the TDE Christmas party, and that's it.
That's it. He going to watch, and then that's it.
Niggas says that's it.
Yeah, but I'm proud of that because that speaks to my homeboys, like, really, again, speaking to men, right? Like, and their support. I mean, G Herbo was in. G Herbo don't go nowhere, but that's my guy. Like, that's my dear friend. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, nah, dude, we pulling up. Like, you know? And of course, the women that are involved. Like I honored Eva Marcel, which Eva from the city. Eva went to Washington. Like, what we talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I want to be able to highlight us. So this year, I have some things in the works in my mind that I want to expand it. I can't speak to it just yet because I'm in the middle of like working out some deals for it. But I'm going to tell you guys as soon as it happens because I think it'll be really special too.
I think that's amazing that you do something for the black community in Los Angeles because I mean you see this in Atlanta and I'm sure obviously if you
100%.
travel around
DC,
you know,
all those type of markets.
where the black numbers are obviously up there.
Absolutely.
With us in Los Angeles, it doesn't, you know,
Absolutely.
It's not that way, right? So speak on why that's such an important thing for you and how you navigate through that space out here.
Man, like, I'm just grateful to God that I've been able to do it in the way I've been able to do it, right? Because not everybody is able to do that. And like, even say with that event, Tulsa Black Hollywood, I mean, I've had it at the Beverly Hills Hotel. Like, they're not just letting... Let's be clear. You know what I'm saying? And so there's a way in which I'm saying they're not. Let's keep it funky.
Right.
Yeah, there's gonna be how many black and brown individuals in there?
It's
Let's
facts.
keep it
No,
funky,
serious,
you know? And so I'm so proud of even my team and like it speaks to my team, also my leadership, but my team and like even the way we were talking about that, even the way things are presented, right? Like I'm so anal about so many things. I have such OCD about so many things because I don't have the luxury to not present in a certain way. I just don't. I'm a young black girl doing business. It can't be like, oh, what's up, y'all? What's up?
It's meant to
Black Queen. Walking in the Beverly Hills Hotel,
right. It ain't
walking in
like that. Right.
Playing Sexy Red, pulling up, no disrespect, but I'm just saying it's not something I could do. So, you know, I'm very aware and cognizant of that. And I try to lead my team in that way too, so they could understand like, yo, we got one shot to pull up and look away. You know, like my team, they on point with that.
How do you respond to people that would say, oh, well, that's toning down your black? You know what I'm saying? Or like, if you have critics that say that, right? That'll mention things.
Tone it up and see where that
goes.
Yeah. It's a time and place for everything, right? If I'm in my uncle's backyard and he grilling, smoking his cigar, and I got him his Douce XO, we're still Black eloquent people.
Right.
But we looking at the game now, I'm a little more relaxed. When you go to work, you go to work. That's the thing that you guys, I take my job serious. As an entrepreneur, I'm still going to work. I treat it just like I treated it when I was working at the insurance company. I need to show up on time. I need to show up to work. I need to present well. I couldn't walk up in the insurance company with a sweatsuit on and whatever. Not saying that again, I've been to meetings with a sweatsuit, but I'm saying you have to present that way. It's just what it is.
Right.
Everybody, you can buck the system to a certain extent. Right? Do you understand? Like, I'm with all of that. I'm here, I'm with all that, you know? But it's to a certain extent, what are you trying to accomplish? Are you just being rebellious for the sake of being rebellious? Or you really have a point here?
I have that problem.
No, I know. I was going to say, because you don't like buttons.
I don't.
He's crazy.
I won't even
He
hug
doesn't
you.
want to wear buttons. He's wild.
I can't
That's
do it.
why I took my jacket off saying, see, I got buttons on my jacket. I didn't wear buttons today.
Freaking out in the middle
You're a
of
crazy
interview. Right.
person. Like,
In real life.
never wearing buttons in a
But
button
to
up.
your point, understanding the intent behind it, you know what I'm saying?
I have a problem though.
That's what
I have a
it is.
mental
He has an
disorder.
actual problem.
I have a disorder.
Yeah,
It's not
you
the
got-
same
it
thing.
is a
I got, you know what I'm
disorder.
Have you
saying?
been diagnosed with that?
He
I didn't
diagnosed
go to the
himself
doctor.
with self-diagnosis. He doesn't like buttons, y'all. For
I
real.
don't
It's a
like
real
buttons.
thing.
Freaks out.
Two more things that I have specifically. The first one is when it comes to, I heard you say something about you don't have aspirations or a ceiling, or because it puts a cap on where you.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what you said
Yeah.
verbatim, but I remember that it stood out to me because I held on to that.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, damn, this whole time. Oh, I remember
Right.
you said you're working towards a goal, and then when you get that goal, you're like, okay, now what? That's exactly what I've been going through the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I had a goal. Me and him. Radio was never a stepping stone for us. It was always the end
The goal.
right?
Right?
A lot of people want to go to
He always
a lot of
was
people want to go
that.
to TV from radio or be an actor
No,
or whatever.
y'all wanna hit
I want to be on the
radio.
radio. Okay, fine. I want to work with Big Boy. Okay, fine.
Did
I want
all that
I want
at
to
the
my own
highest
show.
level.
Okay, fine.
Check.
I want to get on TV. Okay, fine. I
Check.
want to do a Netflix. Okay, fine.
Check.
And now I want to do movies. Okay, fine.
Jen been doing that.
And I'm still not fulfilled.
No.
And I'm not rich. I'm like,
Rich.
what the fuck is going? So when you said that, and then I started to reflect all the way up until now.
Wow.
That's exactly what I'm going through
Wow.
because this is me and him haven't even talked about this, but I had 3 goals. Mm-hmm. The first one was I want to be in the Radio Hall of Fame.
Wow.
The second one was I want a star on the Walk of Fame.
I love it.
The third one was I want a street named after me in my city.
Oh, I love that.
I got rid of all that shit. And because what I did was I realized most of my goals are rooted in ego.
That's
Because
deep.
the reason why we want
gonna speak
statues
to
and
that.
street names is
I was
because
gonna
you
speak to
want you to outlive your physical form.
Sure.
And I started to diagnose what am I going through? Why am I going through like this depression or whatever the fuck I'm dealing
Absolutely.
with? And I was like, oh, it's because all of my goals were rooted in ego.
Sure.
And so once I got
That's so
rid of all that,
powerful.
I hollowed myself out, pause, and I didn't have anything left. And I was just
Yeah.
like, now I
You're
just
like,
felt
now
empty
empty,
as
yeah.
fuck. And I felt lost and
Well, you
shit
thought
like
you
that.
weren't working, you didn't know what you were working towards.
Correct. So I want you to speak
Yeah.
on that.
100%. I mean, first of all, super powerful. I don't want to graze past the fact that you had that type of awareness moment, aha moment in your life, because it's extremely powerful, and that means that you're doing some inner work that a lot of people don't dive into.
Facts.
So I want to say that first. Where that comes from for me, I have to be honest. So I grew up in Faithful Central Baptist Church. Faithful Central Bible Church. It was Baptist Church when I was growing up. Shout out to my Bishop Omer, Kenneth C. Omer. And then I went to, as an adult, one church before it was One International. So when Teray had his church
Teray Roberts,
on in North Hollywood. Mm-hmm. And so, shout out to Teray during that time in particular. I'm speaking about this time in particular.
Shout out to Ray. I got your book.
Shout out to Teray Roberts, PT, love him. That time was super, super special, in particular with the people that went to church in North Hollywood. Not Melrose. Nothing against nobody in Melrose before it turned into all of that. All of it. God bless, and I don't want no problems. But for that time, he really pushed us to really understand how important it is to live out God's dream for our lives. So when I say I don't have a goal, it's not that I don't say, I would like to do that. That's something different. But emptying out that ego is saying, God, I want what you have for my life.
100%.
And so I have to live by the Holy Spirit in myself, and I have to live by my unction in my gut that says, all right, now that's the way to go, Diddy, now. Which is the same idea of the pivot of, can't be in a club for my whole life. Gonna have to pivot here. For the same idea of, ooh, let me start the brand group. I have no clue what the F I'm doing. I don't know. Diddy, I don't know. I still don't know.
That's honest.
I don't know.
I don't think nobody knows.
Shout out to the people that say that, because for the people that, and I know what I'm doing, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I have no clue. Because what I'm gonna do is follow what God tells me to do. I miss the mark sometime, but I'm gonna stay intentional about that. And I know that there's protection there, that there's covering there, and I know that there's intentionality there for me to actually live out my purpose in my life. Beyond this, beyond the jewels, the car, the vibes, everything, like beyond the life we live, because we live a life that is very privileged. Yeah. Not a lot of people, first of all, we grew up in LA.
LA, right.
I don't care where we from the hood, but we still grew up looking at palm trees. That's a real thing for us, you know? We know where to locate the Hollywood sign at any given moment. We grew up in the only city that has Hollywood. There's no Hollywood anywhere else in the world. So for me, taking it back to that, taking off those goals, because it's like, God, where you have me, that's where I gotta be. Because the bigger reason for my life and my career, and the only reason why he let me really get off how I get it off, is because I'm intentional about that.
It's a full surrender for me.
It's a full.
Yeah, you can't partially.
That's so deep. But I surrender every day. It's a continual, because the Bible says we'll battle Amalek every day. Amalek is our flesh. Every day, it doesn't matter what it is, you know, and you like, we're gonna battle it every day. Yep. So it's a continual surrender, like, all right, God, wherever you want me to go, I'm trying to go.
That's where I'm at.
But what does that look like in between, like, surrendering and feeling like, oh, I'm not doing enough?
But you got, so this is what happens with these. Before this, nobody felt like that.
That's true.
No one felt, when we was in college and you was working towards being on the radio, everything, you never felt like you weren't doing enough. You were, whatever it was, you felt like you were just kind of in sync with what was going on. Boom. This is what makes us feel that way.
Facts.
Nothing else. Because we're experiencing too many people at one time. We're not supposed to experience that many people. We're humans. We're supposed to experience each other. We from the same city. We supposed to see each other. Boom, boom, boom. I'm not supposed to experience my friends in France.
Right.
What in Ireland today in one day? No, you're not. That's not a human thing. That's a this thing. Yeah. And so that's what happens. I was talking to this young girl. She's in college. Ran into an event. She was like super inspired by me, and she was talking about that. I'm like, damn, y'all in college? Yeah. Talking about y'all don't feel, these kids are depressed because of this. They're looking at this. It's like, I'm like, baby girl, live your life, pumpkin.
Facts.
It's gonna come. Yeah. It's gonna. I'm like, I promise you, it's gonna come. You don't have to have your next 10 years figured out. That's not how this life works. It's a journey. Yep. You know?
That's 100% accurate.
You mentioned something about missing the mark sometimes, and just for not the clarity, just for people to kind of understand, when was that last time for you, or something that you want to speak on, so people see, they see Miss Diddy, they see all the highlights and the amazing things that you're doing, but when's the last time you personally felt like, yo, I missed the mark on that, and how did you bounce back from that, or what did you learn from that experience?
That's crazy, because I really don't be missing the mark, but I mean.
See, that's that
Leo
shit, right?
It's gonna be that. It's gonna be that.
That's the problem. You know what? I had, with the tough year that I had last year, there was a lot of times I didn't feel motivated, and I was concerned. And it's the same thing that you're saying, like going through, maybe it's depression or all these things, and I was concerned about that. And even though that's like, missing the mark for me was like, I have so much that's riding on me, and for me to perform and do what I need to do, I can't be missing that. Right. I gotta, motivation is temporary. So you gotta find your ways to be motivated, right? Without vices. Like, so no, not drinking, smoke, like no disrespect to nobody, but you gotta find your way to like, get that motivation. So whether that's, I'll go take my walks in the morning, I'll go take a hike, whatever, I gotta get into that. So I feel like I was missing a mark by not finding my motivation maybe quick enough to get back in the race the way I needed to be in the race.
Okay.
I feel that. The last thing I wanted to ask you about is companionship, because
Head be on me about this, y'all.
this is something that I struggle with. Chuck has had it figured out for a while.
Chuck got to figure it out. He got a beautiful, amazing wife.
you. I appreciate
What?
I like his kids more than his wife.
Great
But-
kids. Great family, man.
Thank
Great.
you.
God is good.
No, I'm fucking.
fuck with you too.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
He
Like
hates
a
it.
little
His
bit.
son love
Like
me.
a little bit.
His son fuck
He
with
a
me.
real one. He a
He
real
really,
one.
he taught my son his first cuss word.
That also makes sense. Okay.
It's on brand.
That too makes on brand.
I forgot
It's
to tell you.
brand
on
consistency.
brand.
I
It's
brought him to the
aligned.
station the other day. I forgot to tell you this. I brought him to the station the other day. He
Yeah.
said, where Head at?
Right.
I said, oh no, he doesn't work here. He don't work here anymore. What's going what's
He was offended
But
that he wasn't told.
He just in his mind, he
That's
like
so
evaluated.
cute.
He was like, wait a minute, Head was in this
Oh
room.
my
Why is he not
gosh.
here? And I'm just like, I meant to tell you I was gonna
That's
FaceTime.
the
That's
best
crazy.
ever.
But yeah, they rock with you.
What was I going to? Oh, so I was going to ask you is
Companionship.
how hard is it for you to find companionship? Because I've never seen you with a person on your arm.
I know, right?
I've never seen you on the arm of a person. I've never seen. I don't know. And this is. I'm not even saying this because we here. I don't know anyone that you've ever talked to.
Right.
I mean, vice versa though.
Companionship.
Vice
is
versa.
hard.
Like I don't think anybody. Well, he knows, but
Yeah.
I'm not a public person when it comes to
No.
that at all. Like I
No,
don't.
you're not.
I'm not finna. The last girl that I seriously talked to, we didn't even follow each other.
That now it's probably because that's what you said to do.
No, she just didn't see. She couldn't take it, and I didn't want to. I don't want to follow her.
You couldn't take it is wild.
West Coast.
I've been waiting on you to say, yeah, that's crazy.
One
That
time,
it just
right?
now came right now.
It's
That's
57
wild.
minutes.
But what are you like? Okay, first of all, what is it like for you in an intimate setting,
Yeah.
dealing with a male human? Because
Yeah.
you're an alpha.
Yes.
But I know that, I see all these fucking podcasts, all these women spewing bad advice. But
Hilarious.
it's terrible advice.
Hilarious.
Worse than the Steve Harvey book advice.
Oh,
So-
that's so good and funny.
So,
Yeah. Let the choppers swing.
that advice is terrible,
Oh,
by the
God.
way. That's antiquated, old school shit, but whatever. I love Steve Harvey. But
Head Williams over here.
No, facts.
when it comes to you specifically,
Yeah.
what are is that a thing? Or
It's tough, boy. Ooh.
Somebody right now waiting for the soft launch. They like,
Nah,
yeah,
facts.
it's happening. It's happening right
Facts.
now.
Well, I'm gonna see. Okay,
It's tough.
speaking from an
it's
entrepreneur,
tough.
a goal-oriented, business-driven woman.
Yeah.
Is there
who-
space for
and
that?
it's somebody who's
It
an
is
alpha
space,
woman.
but
'Cause
I'm an alpha in a business space. I'm not alpha in a relationship. I don't want to be alpha there. I'm the leader in so many spaces of my life. I don't want to be the leader.
How is that though? So when
Because men think I want to.
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
the
When they
problem.
see
It's
that-
confused. Like, and until they, in some way, men that really know me, and any men I've ever been in any form of intimacy, not even just sex, just in general, they see that, and it's always like, oh, like that's really you. First of all, I'm the youngest of my siblings. I grew up with 3 older brothers. Now, a lot of times in my life, I have had to become the older sister in situations, which again puts me back into situations in my life that I don't want to be in, like the force-fed, you must be the leader in this situation. So for me, relationship-wise, I don't want to be the leader. Yeah. I'm tired. Yeah. I'm tired. Yeah. And so it is tough because one thing I will say about men in this time, in this era in general, because I like men that are 45, 50. I like a 30-something-year-old. I'm not like you got to be this age.
Got you.
But one thing that men just aren't is consistent. And because I grew up in an era where that's like important. Like, I'm not your girlfriend unless you call me every day. You ain't calling me a week later and thinking that you still got the same spot in my life. Like, it's like, oh, what's up, bro?
Bro.
It's big, bro. Like, what you think this is?
You big bro.
You didn't call me in a week? You're confused.
You don't think that's ego?
100%.
Okay.
But why would
That's
it
fair.
not be?
Yeah.
That's fair though.
It's
you want
honest
to
ego.
be,
It's
I
not
respect
even,
that.
you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? It's not even an ego that's not should be in that space. Like, bro, why are you calling me at the weekend?
So you have to
Men are arrogant.
you
Y'all
have
are
to
so
verbally
arrogant.
talk to a man every day.
you can't be invested in me without needing to make sure I'm okay every day. If you don't need to make sure I'm okay every day, I'm not your girl.
Right.
I'm not the girl for you. Do you know how much I carry in my life? The man that he has to be able to carry that and what he got in his life. I'm a very gender specific person. I'm not with all that. Like, I don't want equality. I'm not into it. No.
Hey,
y'all can have that.
Thank you so much.
I'm not interested
Thank you
in
so
it.
much.
God bless you. Good night. I don't want equality, man. I'll take my $1 less on the salary. If it means the roles are enforced.
I said it twice.
I don't want equality.
Yeah.
The roles got to be enforced.
Yes.
It's a reason they exist.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I really believe in stuff like that. So it's like, don't call me every day. No, I'm not
You know how many
woman.
arguments I have been in over this specific topic? And it's like, even when I was on the radio and I would go on with Big Boy, they would kill me.
A lot of women are raised by single mothers.
Okay, I was too.
And a lot of men I was going to say that because that black mama on that black son, ooh, it's bad.
So, okay. So look. Reel it in.
That black mama messed that black son up and gets him very confused because that black mama, that's that single mama, 9 times out of 10 treat that son like that's their man. And it confuses a lot confuses. And also they praise their sons. Black women raise their daughters and love their sons.
Damn. That's cold. That's a fuck.
It's a real thing. I was raised with 3 brothers. I'm the only one that has a tumultuous relationship with my mom.
Word.
100%. It's the praising of the black son. And my mom was married my life. Like, she married 4 times, so that's what. But you know what I'm saying?
No problem.
I'm just saying, like, that black mama on that black son is something that really. That's what you really need to tap into in the conversations. And I like your mama. Like, and I got homeboys. I love their mamas too. But that black single mother, it's a lot that black single mother had to deal with. That I don't think. Well, I know that generation, our generation right above us. I'm talking about that black single mother. They ain't never healed from that.
I feel that.
And they won't do the healing. They not gonna do the work. They too far into their life they can't dig into that. They don't want to touch that. It's too heavy. So that black son, that's why you hear so many young black boys, I gotta get my mama out the hood.
Right.
And yes, rightfully so, you're supposed to be the man in your world and stuff like that, but it's like responsibility-wise, ain't really your wants.
I bought my mom's house before I got mine.
See what I'm saying?
And I stayed in.
Congratulations!
That's huge. It's amazing.
God, you got a space with God with that, but it's like
that's not my responsibility.
Okay, that's all I was gonna say.
Is that what you're saying?
Right, but that black mama ain't never gonna. That black mama gonna make sure you feel it's your responsibility. I'm saying generally. I ain't talking about your mama because she ain't finna call me with the.
No,
my
mom.
I don't want no problem with her.
I don't think my mom has ever felt like that, but I do understand.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do understand
what you're generally, but why would you do that if you didn't feel obligate like that? Like, sorry.
Well, I didn't like how we grew up, like,
right?
I didn't understand.
And she probably did the best that she knew how.
Yeah.
100%, and that's to be honored. That's to be honored.
And you know something else? I remember us getting put out. I remember sleeping in the car.
You like, you ain't never finna go through that no more. But that's what I mean. That black single mother been through a lot. She ain't doing that therapy. She ain't doing that work. Yeah. She ain't hitting that therapist. My mama ain't going to no therapist.
You know what? This last thing, and we could wrap up.
Okay.
I just had this conversation with my mom.
By the way, I love you.
Don't come for me.
I love you, like for real. I watch you. I love you.
So this came up, and I want to get your take on it. Mm-hmm. When it came to intentions.
Yeah.
Over holiday break, I go to my mom's house. We sitting there and we chopping it up or whatever, and she's decorating the house for my sister's birthday. And she's like, yeah. And I know she done hit him. He won't tell me, but she done hit them all up to try to plan this surprise dinner for my birthday, right? So.
No, it's a surprise. My bad. Go ahead. Continue.
You didn't know it was a surprise?
Hell no.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a surprise.
my bad.
I shut all that shit down.
Yeah, okay, got it.
I shut all that shit down.
Okay, I was like, I didn't know it was a surprise.
My mom can't afford to take all of us out to eat.
Because that's expensive.
You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
So it's all good. I'm not tripping.
Yes.
Send me a text. I'm gonna get on the computer and try to find some money.
Yes.
You know, whatever. So we over there for holiday break. No, I know you was in on it. I know, whatever. So,
You got a group check. You got a group text right now.
I know my mom, bro.
Yeah.
So anyway, long story short, we sitting there and it was over Christmas break, and she's decorating the house, and she's planning this birthday party, and I was just like, Mom. I said, she's like, well, we want to celebrate your birthday. I said, what if it's my birthday?
What if I don't want to?
What if I don't want to do shit?
Yeah.
And she was like, when I tell you, she didn't understand what I was saying.
Yeah.
And I was like, I said, Mom, I said, how you know, I didn't say my sister, I was like, how you know she want the house decorated for her birthday? She's like, well, I celebrate you guys every year. I said, for who?
For you.
And she was like, what do you mean? I said, Mom.
For you.
I said, Mom.
That's my mom.
Have you ever asked her if she wants for her birthday?
Wow.
And my sister turns and looks at my mom and says, I never want you to decorate for my birthday.
I actually am fine without ever
And
putting
my mom, when I tell you her mind was blown.
Sure.
I said, Mom, who are you doing this for?
After all these years too.
30 years.
Yeah.
Who are you doing this for? She's like, well, for y'all. I said, if I don't want it and she doesn't want it, who are you doing it for?
There's only one person else in the equation. Right.
She was like, when I tell you my mom was...
She couldn't believe it.
She was blown.
Yeah.
She did, and all I could think about as I'm having this conversation, I had to call Salas. We had him on. It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
And what I realized in that moment, I've had these conversations over the years with so many different women about being self-absorbed. And I was like, I said, it's crazy that my mother, this is my mom. First of all, when I realized my mom was a woman, it fucked me up.
That's fair.
Because we don't look at parents as gender.
100%.
But when I realized my mom was a girl.
That's so fair.
With feelings and I was like, oh,
and as a girl, like, oh, you're a woman.
Right,
yeah.
Right. It blew my mind. So I'm like, Mom, I'm telling her, I'm like, damn, it's crazy that this is my mother. And I'm having to teach her something that none of these men have ever taught her.
They turn into children.
And it was just like, oh my God. When I tell you, it was a mind fuck for me.
It is.
Because I'm literally teaching my mother a lesson that I taught women over the years. And no man has ever taught her this thing before.
Yep.
Because they're happy to be there or don't want to piss her off or don't want to have the argument or whatever the case may be.
Or may not even be aware themselves.
Or may not even be aware themselves.
Awareness. Yeah. We're the generation of that awareness.
Yeah.
We're the generation of asking questions. Be like, whoa,
that
what
makes
is
sense.
that? That's not that generation. That generation is be seen and not heard, and that's how they live their life. And so those conversations, even to that, like where you would have them say right here, right? Horizontal, whatever, like you're not having it there because that generation wasn't raised like that, man. So we're the ones that are like, it's gonna be more friction because we're kind of like, hey, no, like let's take a deep dive into
where
that.
it's coming from, yeah.
Where is that coming from? And that's what I mean. Like, I really wish Black mothers in that generation definitely get therapy, go to like, just start to dig into it. But I know it's painful and it's a lot. It's a lot.
I thank you for finally coming on. You know,
I'm
I know
so
you're
happy.
so busy. And you finally made time for us.
I'm
you
so
know what I'm
happy.
saying? Miss Diddy.
Most important thing for me.
What can we look forward to moving forward? You know, I know we kind of scratched the surface a little bit, but you know, what are some things? The year can't end. We like to ask this question. The year can't end without Miss Diddy doing what?
Oh.
And it could be career-wise. It could be personal. It can be things that you're manifesting, just anything.
I think personally, for me being really confident in the person and the woman that I'm growing into and allowing myself the space to be that person without constraints of like the world and people and what's expected and stuff like that. And I've been like a person in my family that's like the person everybody calls on for everything. It's like I've learned to be like, oh, don't call me. But not because I don't want to, but because I had to learn to save space for myself. I know you are. We talked about this. I was running on E for so long, and I had to learn that was absolutely the most unhealthy way to live my life. And so that, I think, is definitely personal this year with that. And then, I'm so happy to be here with you guys. I do want to let it be known that I paid DJ Head for this interview.
Wow.
And so that is where, that's where our,
how much did you
we can't, it's undisclosed, it's undisclosed figures. Like Drake says, it's undisclosed figures.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Tell people how much
it took a lot. You know, I've bribed him, I have threatened him, and I ultimately ended up having to pay him. So
when
I'm
you
not sure
paid
that's
me,
extortion.
What about you knowing Chuck longer than you know me?
And that's what he always says. He be like, you know Chuck longer than you.
So why would you pay me if you know that this is the founder?
No, you know, it's just the way you've been moving about your stuff in life. So that's it.
This is the founder.
You talking about you right now.
Everything is in his name.
Toast to black.
No, you said leave me alone. Just stay over here.
Right here.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm so happy to be here with my family, my brothers, my loved ones. I'm so grateful to have even been on this journey with y'all, beside y'all in life, like us coming up in the city. And like, it's a blessing, man, because we've all worked so freaking hard. And it's tough because being in this market, it doesn't remind you how hard you work until you go somewhere else. Like I told when you went to Atlanta, that's when you're like, oh, I really did some stuff. They know. So, you know, I just want to give y'all flowers beyond, because you guys have been putting on for the culture for so freaking long with y'all hearts and y'all souls, and it doesn't go unrecognized.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm personally learning how to accept the flowers.
Yeah,
it's
you
one
got to.
thing that I'm, really focused on this year as far as being intentional with that. So thank you so much. I don't want to deflect from that. I appreciate
Yes.
that. And much more success, and we're gonna keep on toasting you as well, man. Miss Diddy, Homegrown Radio, Chuck Dizzle, DJ Head. We'll catch y'all next time.
Homegrown Radio gang.